How would you react if your neighbor, the self-proclaimed queen of the HOA, ripped your disabled daughter's backpack right off her wheelchair? Because that's exactly what happened to me, and let me tell you, Karen had no idea who she was messing with. It's a crisp Virginia morning, the kind where the suburbs hum with lawnmowers and the faint stench of HOA tyranny. I'm Mike, 52, a legal policy advisor who keeps my DOJ gig quieter than a deer in hunting season. I'm out in the driveway, helping my daughter Grace, 11, get ready for school. Grace has cerebral palsy, rolls in a purple wheelchair that's cooler than my old Camaro, and has a custom pink backpack strapped to it, stuffed with medical supplies and school books, not clutter, thank you very much. My briefcase is tossed on the passenger seat, phone's in my jacket pocket, and I'm thinking about nothing more than surviving the morning commute. Then, like a storm cloud in yoga pants, Karen storms across the cul-de-sac. Late 40s, HOA president, armed with a clipboard, oversized sunglasses, and a HOA rules tote bag that screams, "I peaked in high school." She's got that walk like she's about to fine you for breathing too loudly. "Mike," she barks, waving her clipboard like it's the Magna Carta. "This backpack is blocking the sidewalk. It's a violation." The sidewalk, for the record, is clear as a putting green. Grace's chair is parked by our car, not obstructing a damn thing. I'm about to say so when Karen, without so much as a "may I," lunges forward and yanks the backpack off Grace's wheelchair. The strap snaps like a cheap guitar string, and medical supplies tubes, a spare catheter spill onto the pavement like confetti at a divorce party. Grace gasps, her eyes wide, hands gripping her chair. My blood pressure hits lunar orbit. Karen, oblivious, waves the torn backpack like it's evidence in a CSI episode. Community standards, Mike. You can't just leave junk lying around. Junk? That's my kid's lifeline, you clipboard-wielding harpy. I'm seeing red, but I've been around enough bureaucrats to know rage doesn't win battles, paperwork does. I whip out my phone, snap photos of the scene, the spilled supplies, the torn strap, Karen's smug mug. "Karen," I say, voice low like I'm channeling Clint Eastwood, "get off my property. Now." She huffs, tosses her hair, and struts off, but not before snapping a photo of Grace's wheelchair and muttering, "This isn't over." "Oh, sweetheart, you have no idea." Across the street, old Mr. Harris watches from his porch, sipping coffee like he's at a matinee. No backup, just a front row seat. Typical. So, guys, what would you do if some HOA wannabe warlord treated your kid like that? Had a neighbor cross the line and think they're untouchable? Drop your stories in the comments, I need to hear your HOA nightmares. Because Karen just lit a fuse, and she's about to learn what happens when you mess with a dad who knows the law. Karen thought she could bully us into submission. She had no idea she was about to get a legal education, free of charge. By afternoon, the sting of the morning's fiasco lingers like a bad hangover. Grace is at school, rolling with her old blue backup backpack, one zipper busted, looking like it survived a tour in Nam. The custom pink one, now a crime scene artifact, sits in a plastic bag on the kitchen table, its torn strap and spilled medical supplies, catheters, sterile wipes, a feeding tube, mocking me. I'm not just mad, I'm strategizing. Karen's little stunt isn't just a tantrum, it's a federal misstep, and I'm the guy who knows exactly which laws she tripped over. Around 3 p.m., the doorbell chimes like a warning bell. There's Karen, yellow envelope in hand, looking like she's auditioning for a suburban remake of The Godfather. She thrusts the envelope at me, her HOA rules tote bag swinging like a pendulum. "Violation notice," she snaps, lips pursed tighter than a banker's wallet. "Obstruction of common areas. Daily fines start tomorrow." Before I can respond, she's halfway down the driveway, her clipboard bouncing against her hip. I open the envelope. It's a formal HOA letter, typed in Comic Sans, which somehow makes it more insulting. It cites sidewalk hazards, and demands immediate compliance, with a fine of $50 a day if I don't remove the obstruction. Cute, Karen. Real cute. I head inside, toss the letter next to the torn backpack, and fire up my laptop. First move, preservation. I create a digital folder labeled Karen's Kryptonite and dump in everything, photos from the morning, the violation letter, and a quick scan of the HOA's CC and RS I keep on hand for moments like this. I email myself a detailed timeline of the incident, from Karen's sidewalk sermon to her backpack yanking performance. Documentation is the backbone of any good revenge, and I'm building a spine of steel. By evening, Karen's escalated her campaign to the digital front. I check the neighborhood Facebook group, usually a wasteland of lost cat posts and casserole recipes, and there's her manifesto. Concerned about safety, she writes, spinning a tale of how my family's negligence created a hazardous obstruction. She's posted a blurry photo of Grace's wheelchair, angled to make it look like it's blocking the entire sidewalk. The comments are a mixed bag, a few Karens in training chime in with, totally agree, while others stay silent. I screenshot every word, adding it to my folder. She's digging her own grave, and I'm just handing her the shovel. The neighborhood's vibe shifts by the next morning. At the mailbox, Mrs. Delaney, who usually chats about her hydrangeas, avoids eye contact like I'm radioactive. But Mr. Carter, the guy with the vintage Mustang, sidles up and mutters, "Karen's out of line." You got my support. A couple others, parents from Grace's school, send quiet texts, "We saw the post. She's nuts." It's a small win, but I'm not here for moral support. I'm here to bury Karen's ego in legal paperwork. I dive into research mode, pulling up the HOA's covenants, conditions, and restrictions. It's drier than a tax code, but I'm in my element. I highlight sections on accessibility and non-discrimination, then cross-reference them with the Americans with Disabilities Act and the Fair Housing Act. Karen's little backpack stunt. That's not just bad manners, it's interference with medical equipment, a violation that could make an ADA lawyer salivate. The Fair Housing Act's even juicier. HOAs can't harass residents over reasonable accommodations, like, say, a wheelchair parked in a driveway for 5 minutes. I print out the relevant sections, tab them with post-its, and add them to my growing evidence pile. Karen's violation letter might as well be a confession. I'm not stopping there. I dig into case law, precedents where HOAs got slapped for disability-related overreach. A 2018 case in Florida catches my eye. An HOA fined a family for a ramp, got sued, and paid out 6 figures. Another in Minnesota, where the DOJ itself stepped in after a condo association targeted a disabled resident. I bookmark these, my grin widening. Karen's not just fighting me, she's poking a federal bear. The next day, I'm at the kitchen table, sipping black coffee, when Grace rolls in. "Dad, is Karen gonna take my new backpack too?" Her voice is small, and it's a gut punch. I kneel beside her chair, hand on her shoulder. "Not a chance, kiddo. We're fixing this." She nods, but her eyes say she's not convinced. That's when I decide, this isn't just about winning. It's about making sure Grace feels safe in her own damn neighborhood. I'm ready to escalate, but Karen's not done playing queen. By Friday, a new flyer's taped to every mailbox, special HOA board meeting, Tuesday, 7 p.m. agenda, addressing ongoing violations. It's got Karen's signature scrawled at the bottom, promising to restore order. Restore order. Lady, you're about to learn what disorder looks like when you mess with a guy who's got the law on speed dial. I lean back, picturing the showdown. Karen's got her clipboard and her Facebook minions, but I've got photos, video, and a working knowledge of federal statutes. She's bringing a knife to a legal gunfight. I start prepping my evidence folder, thick as a phone book, and test the USB with the security camera footage. It's crystal clear, Karen ripping the backpack, supplies hitting the pavement, Grace's startled flinch. It's not just evidence, it's a knockout punch. Karen was about to find out what happens when you try to outmaneuver someone who literally writes the rules. The community clubhouse smells like stale coffee and regret as I roll Grace in for the HOA board meeting. It's Thursday evening, and Karen's perched at the head table like she's presiding over the Nuremberg trials, her clipboard and HOA rules tote bag propped like trophies. The room's packed with neighbors, some curious, some loyal to Karen's reign of terror, others just here for the free cookies. I've got Grace by my side, her purple wheelchair gleaming under the fluorescent lights, and a thick evidence folder in my lap. It's go time. My folder's a legal arsenal, photos of the torn pink backpack, the spilled medical supplies, Karen's violation letter in all its Comic Sans glory, screenshots of her Facebook smear campaign, and a USB with security camera footage that's about to make her wish she'd stayed home. The backpack itself, still in a clear plastic bag, sits on the table in front of me, its snap strap a silent accusation. I'm calm, but inside, I'm a dad ready to burn Karen's petty empire to the ground. Karen kicks things off, standing with the confidence of a used car salesman. We're here to address ongoing violations, she declares, clicking through a PowerPoint that's 90% clip art and 10% lies. She flashes a photo of Grace's wheelchair, cropped to make it look like it's blocking the entire sidewalk. This family, she says, pointing at us, has repeatedly created safety hazards, endangering our community. A few of her cronies nod like trained seals, the rest shift uncomfortably. Grace grips my hand, and I give her a reassuring squeeze. Hang tight, kiddo. Karen's still yammering about community standards when I raise my hand. She glares, but the board chair, a tired-looking guy named Tom, nods for me to speak. I stand, folder in hand, and start slow. Let's talk facts, I say, passing out copies of my photos to the board. This is the backpack Karen ripped off my daughter's wheelchair. It held medical supplies, catheters, feeding tubes, not clutter. It wasn't blocking anything. I point to the images, supplies scattered on the pavement, the torn strap. A few neighbors lean forward, murmuring. Next, I plug the USB into the projector. The security footage plays in glorious HD, Karen storming up, yanking the backpack, Grace's startled flinch as supplies hit the ground. The room goes quiet, save for Karen's sharp intake of breath. That's not how it happened, she sputters, but Tom shushes her. I keep going, handing out her violation letter. This arrived the same day, threatening fines for a non-existent obstruction. Then there's this. I flash her Facebook post on the screen, her hazard rant underlined by my screenshots of supportive neighbor comments she ignored. Now for the knockout. I pull out my highlighted copy of the HOA's CC and RS, flipping to the accessibility section. This explicitly prohibits interference with disability accommodations. But let's go bigger. I slide copies of the Americans with Disabilities Act and Fair Housing Act across the table. Title III of the ADA protects access to medical equipment. Interfering with it, like, say, ripping a backpack off a wheelchair, is a federal violation. I cite a DOJ case from 2019, where an HOA paid dearly for similar overreach. The Fair Housing Act also bans harassment over reasonable accommodations, like a wheelchair in a driveway for 5 minutes. I pause, letting that sink in. Karen's actions aren't just rude. They're illegal. The room's a graveyard. Karen's face is redder than a tailgate barbecue, her clipboard forgotten. I'm not done. I've documented everything, photos, video, her posts. It's all preserved, time-stamped, and ready for escalation. Then, for the first time, I drop the hammer. I advise the Justice Department on disability rights. I filed a formal complaint with them yesterday, citing interference with medical equipment and discriminatory harassment. They're reviewing it as we speak. A gasp ripples through the crowd. Karen's mouth opens, then shuts like a carp out of water. Tom looks like he wants to crawl under the table. Then Mr. Harris, the porch-sipping spectator from day one, stands up. I saw the whole thing, he says, voice steady. Karen was out of line. That backpack wasn't blocking anything, and she scared the girl. Two other parents chime in, a mom whose son uses a walker, and a dad who's tangled with Karen over his fence height. This has gone too far, the mom says. We're with Mike. Karen tries to interrupt, waving her hands like she's flagging down a rescue chopper. This is a witch hunt, she shrieks, but Tom cuts her off. Let him finish. I wrap up, sliding my folder to the board. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to protect my daughter. You decide what's next, but know this, I'm prepared to take this as far as it needs to go. The meeting adjourns in chaos, neighbors whispering, Karen clutching her tote bag like a life raft. As we roll out, Grace looks up at me. Did we win, Dad? I smile. Not yet, but we're getting there. She grins, and for the first time in days, her shoulders relax. Outside, a few neighbors approach, Mr. Carter, the Mustang guy, and the mom with the walker-using son. You nailed it, Carter says, clapping my shoulder. Karen's toast. I thank them, but my mind's already on the next move. The DOJ complaint's in motion, and I've got a hunch Karen's about to face a reality check bigger than her ego. Karen always wanted to run the neighborhood. Now she's running out of allies, and running into federal law. The morning after the HOA showdown, the boardroom feels like a courtroom awaiting a verdict. I'm not there, didn't need to be. My evidence folder, that brick of photos, screenshots, and legal citations, did the talking. By 9 a.m., my phone pings with an email from Tom, the board chair, who's probably regretting ever signing up for this gig. The boards received 2 letters, one from the Justice Department, acknowledging my complaint about interference with medical equipment, and another from the State Attorney General, sniffing around for Fair Housing Act violations. Karen's little backpack stunt just went from HOA drama to federal case, and I'm not even breaking a sweat. The torn pink backpack, now Exhibit A, is in the board's hands, along with my USB of security footage and printouts of Karen's Facebook rants. Tom's email is curt, all fines against us are suspended, effective immediately. The board's issuing a public apology to Grace and me, and they've launched an investigation into Karen's conduct as HOA president. I lean back in my kitchen chair, sipping coffee that tastes like victory. Karen's not just losing, she's imploding. By noon, the neighborhood's buzzing. Mr. Carter texts me a photo of Karen's latest meltdown. She stormed out of the boardroom, tossed her precious clipboard into a trash can, and left her HOA rules tote bag on the table like a discarded battle flag. I chuckle, picturing her dramatic exit. She probably thought she'd rally her minions and come back swinging. Instead, she's got neighbors turning on her faster than a bad sitcom. At the mailbox, the vibe's different now. Mrs. Delaney, who dodged me like the plague last week, waves and mumbles an apology. Didn't know Karen went that far, she says, clutching her gardening gloves. Mr. Harris, the porch-sipping witness, stops by with a nod. You shook things up, Mike. About time. Then Mrs. Carter, his wife, shows up at our door with a brand new pink backpack for Grace, complete with sturdy straps and a pocket for her medical supplies. Grace's eyes light up as she unzips it, already planning where to stick her stickers. Tell her thanks, she says, and I do, but I'm also thinking, this is what community should feel like, not Karen's reign of terror. The board's apology hits the neighborhood Facebook group by evening, pinned to the top with comments disabled, smart move. It's formal but clear, they regret the incident, affirm their commitment to accessibility, and promise a full review of HOA policies. Karen's name isn't mentioned, but it doesn't need to be. The group's already lit up with private messages. A dad from down the street DMs me, heard you took Karen down with a law book. Respect. Another neighbor, the mom with the walker-using son, sends a thumbs-up emoji and a note, thanks for standing up. We're next if she's not stopped. Karen's radio silence is deafening. No new flyers, no sanctimonious posts, just rumors she's been holed up in her house, blinds drawn like she's in witness protection. I'm not gloating, okay, maybe a little, but I'm more focused on the next steps. My DOJ complaint's moving forward, and I've got a call scheduled with a contact at the state AG's office. Karen's not just facing a bruised ego, she's staring down potential fines, maybe even personal liability if the feds decide her actions were willful. Interfering with medical equipment isn't a parking ticket, it's the kind of thing that gets you a starring role in a DOJ press release. I'm at the kitchen table, updating my Karen's Kryptonite folder with Tom's email and a screenshot of the board's apology, when Grace rolls in. Is Karen gone for good? She asks, twirling a sticker on her finger. I hesitate. She's not in charge anymore, kiddo. And we're making sure she can't hurt anyone else. Grace nods, but I see the worry in her eyes. This isn't just about winning, it's about her feeling safe. I add a note to my folder, follow up on HOA disability training. This neighborhood's getting a wake-up call, whether they like it or not. By Friday, the board sends another email, this time inviting me to help draft new disability accommodation policies. It's not a surprise, after my ADA masterclass at the meeting, they know I'm not bluffing. The email also mentions an upcoming vote on Karen's resignation, which they're strongly encouraging. I grin, imagining her packing up her tote bag for good. Her house hasn't gone on the market yet, but I give it a week before the "for sale" sign pops up. Karens don't stick around when the spotlight's on their screw-ups. I'm not naive, HOAs are breeding grounds for power-hungry clipboard queens, and another Karen's probably waiting in the wings. But for now, the neighborhood's shifting. People are talking to each other, not just about Karen's fall but about what's right. At the bus stop, a couple of parents ask how Grace is doing, and it's genuine, not pity. I tell them she's rocking her new backpack, and they smile. Small steps, but they matter. Revenge is best served with a side of federal paperwork, and a neighborhood that finally learned its lesson. 2 weeks after Karen's empire crashed, I'm in the front yard, watching Grace roll toward the school bus with her new pink backpack, courtesy of Mrs. Carter. It's sturdy, with pockets for her medical supplies and a glittery unicorn sticker she slapped on herself. Her purple wheelchair sports a new reflective tag, protected by federal law, a gag gift from Mr. Harris that Grace loves. My phone's on the porch, recording a quick thank you video for the neighbors who stepped up. The air feels lighter, like the neighborhood exhaled a collective sigh of relief. A Karen Repellent Zone sign, another neighborly gift, is staked in our lawn, its block letters earning chuckles from passing joggers. It's a joke, but it's also a warning, this cul-de-sac's done with petty tyrants. The HOA's been busy, too. The board, still reeling from the DOJ and state AG letters, voted unanimously to adopt new policies on disability accommodations and anti-harassment. I helped draft them, ensuring every clause is airtight, ADA compliant, Fair Housing Act friendly, and Karen-proof. No more fines for wheelchairs in driveways or backpacks that don't meet some clipboard queen's aesthetic. I'm now chair of the new Accessibility Committee, a role I took on to keep the momentum going. Grace deserves a neighborhood where she's safe, not a battleground. Karen's fate? She's a ghost now. She resigned from the board the day after the boardroom debacle, her signature on the letter shaky, like she was signing her own surrender. Her house hit the market 3 days later, a "for sale" sign planted in her manicured lawn like a white flag. Word is she's barely left her place since, blinds drawn, her HOA rules, tote bag probably stuffed in a closet with her shattered ego. I don't wish her ill, just far away, where she can't terrorize anyone else. The neighborhood's better without her, and the silence from her corner of the street is louder than any of her rants. I'm not one for gloating, but there's a certain poetry in watching a bully's world unravel. Karen thought she could rule with a clipboard and a superiority complex, but she didn't count on a dad with a law degree, a grudge, and a direct line to the Justice Department. My DOJ complaint's still active, and the state AG's poking around, which means Karen might be dodging legal headaches for a while. I joke with Mr. Carter over beers that I should install a Karen early warning system, motion sensors that blare "danger zone" when someone with a tote bag gets too close. He laughs, but I'm half serious. Once you've dealt with one Karen, you're always scanning for the next. The neighborhood's changed, and not just because Karen's gone. People are talking again, not whispering behind fences. At the bus stop, parents ask Grace about her stickers, not just me about the incident. Mrs. Delaney, who once dodged me like I was selling timeshares, brings over cookies and asks how she can join the accessibility committee. Mr. Harris, now a local legend for calling Karen out, stops by to swap stories about his own HOA battles from the 90s. It's not perfect, HOAs are still magnets for power-hungry types, but it's progress. Grace notices it, too. Yesterday, she said, nobody's staring at my chair anymore. That's worth more than any apology letter. I'm wrapping up my thank you video, panning to the Karen repellent zone sign for laughs, when Grace rolls back from the bus. Dad, can we get ice cream later? She asks, grinning. Only if you finish your math homework, I shoot back. She groans, but it's the normal kid kind, not the worried one from 2 weeks ago. That's the real win, her smile, her ease, her knowing this neighborhood's got her back. My advice to you fellas out there, forged in the fire of this mess, document everything, know your rights, and never underestimate the power of a dad with a cause. Keep a folder, snap photos, save emails, paperwork's your sword and shield. If some HOA wannabe tries to flex, hit them with facts, not fists. And if they mess with your kid, channel every ounce of that protective rage into something sharper, like a well-timed federal complaint. Karens thrive on fear, starve them with competence. The Accessibility Committee's first meeting is next week, and I'm already sketching out training sessions on disability rights. The board's talking about a community picnic, too, with wheelchair-accessible paths and no clipboard checkpoints. I'm pushing for a "No Karens Allowed" theme, half joking, but Tom's considering it. For now, I'm content watching Grace roll down the sidewalk, her new backpack bouncing, no violation notices in sight. So, guys, if you loved seeing an HOA bully get served a plate of justice, hit like, share your own Karen stories in the comments, subscribe, and ring that bell. Ever taken down a neighborhood villain with nothing but grit and a good lawyer's brain? I want to hear it. Because Karens come and go, but dads like us, we're here for the long haul, and we don't back down.